All right, so today we're going to deep dive into T.L. Huchu's The Legacy of Arniston House.
Okay.
Have you had a chance to read it yet?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's such a fun book.
It's
It's urban fantasy,
yes.
but it's steeped in Scottish lore.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking ghost talkers and ancient beings and maybe even a touch of political intrigue.
Yeah, definitely.
So without further ado, let's just dive right in.
Sounds good.
I guess maybe just to set the stage a little bit. This story unfolds in modern-day Edinburgh, but there's this whole hidden world of magic woven throughout.
Right, and I think what makes this book really stand out is how the author T.L. Huchu blends that history and folklore with contemporary urban fantasy.
Yeah,
You get a sense of the real Edinburgh,
yeah.
but then it's layered with this magical element.
Exactly, and it's done so seamlessly, you never feel like you're being pulled out of the story.
It's very organic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Ropa Moyo, our protagonist.
Yes.
She's this young ghost talker, and she finds herself right in the middle of a power struggle
Yeah, she's in the thick of it.
between different magical factions.
Wow.
What did you think about her as a character?
I found her really compelling.
Mhm.
She's got this unique ability to communicate with ghosts, a gift that was passed down from her grandmother.
Right,
And it's not just like a parlor trick.
right.
She uses this traditional Shona instrument, the mbira, to channel her power.
I love that detail, the mbira.
Me too.
It's not just some random mystical object.
Right.
It's rooted in real-world Shona spiritual beliefs.
Exactly. And it adds this whole other layer of cultural authenticity to the story.
It makes you think about how magic is portrayed in different cultures, right?
Yeah, it's not just wands and spells.
Yeah, exactly. So there's also the Society of Skeptical Inquirers.
Oh,
They're
yes.
kind of like the magical police force of Scotland.
Right. They regulate the use of magic, investigate any unusual occurrences, make sure everything's ticking along as it should.
Yeah, they're like the Ministry of Magic, but maybe a bit more grounded.
A bit more down to earth.
And they're not always necessarily the good guys, right?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, on the surface, they seem like a force for order,
Yeah,
but there's always that potential for corruption.
especially when you have figures like Lord Samarising, the English sorcerer royal.
Ah, yes. He embodies that historical tension
Yeah.
between England and Scotland.
And he ends up betraying Ropa, which makes you question who you can really trust in this world.
Absolutely, no one is quite what they seem.
Okay, so speaking of secrets and mysteries, there's the Library of the Dead.
Oh, yes, that was one of my favorite parts of the book.
It's this incredible repository of forbidden knowledge.
Right. Even experienced magicians are wary of it.
And it's got this really unique architecture and a mysterious connection to the other world.
I love how Huchu described it. You could practically feel the weight of all that ancient knowledge pressing down on you.
Totally. And it plays such a crucial role in Ropa's journey as she tries to uncover the truth about her past and the fate of Scottish magic.
Right? She's drawn to it almost like a moth to a flame.
It makes you wonder what secrets are hidden within those walls.
And what price might someone have to pay to access them?
Exactly. And that's something we'll definitely be exploring further as we delve deeper into the legacy of Arniston House.
It's not just the library, though, is it?
No, you're
Right.
right.
That whole theme of, the living and the dead being kind of intertwined
Yeah.
runs throughout the whole book.
For sure. For sure. So we have this whole other element where Ropa's soul actually becomes separated from her body.
Yes.
And that's a whole other can of worms.
That's a whole other level. Right.
It's terrifying to think about. I'd like to be conscious but detached from your physical form. I mean, it's hard to even wrap your head around.
I think the author does a really good job of exploring that.
Yeah,
The psychological and emotional impact of that separation.
absolutely. And it all happens while her grandmother's funeral is taking place.
Oh, God.
Talk about a bizarre juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like two worlds colliding.
Exactly. And we learned that Ropa's grandmother wasn't just some, fringe figure.
Right.
She was this beloved figure in the magical community.
Yeah, and she was helping people connect with their deceased loved ones.
I really love that about her.
Me too.
Like she wasn't just this powerful seer,
Yeah.
but she was using her gifts to help others.
It's like a different way of thinking about magic.
Right.
Not just as this dangerous force,
Right.
but as something that can heal and connect people.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. So anyway, back to Ropa's predicament.
Right.
Her body is being cared for by Priya,
Yes.
who is this amazing healer.
She's great.
But time is running out to reunite her soul with her physical form.
Yeah, it's a race against time.
What did you think about Priya's character?
I love her.
Yeah.
She uses plant magic.
Right.
It's so vivid.
It's very cool.
And it's so imaginative. She's drawing on the earth's energy to heal and restore.
Absolutely.
I love that imagery.
So eventually, through Priya's efforts and the help of this other powerful magic practitioner, Mrs. Guthrie Ropa's soul is drawn back to her body.
Yes, and they bury her in this healing garden.
Yes.
To allow the earth's energy to work its magic.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful scene.
It is.
It's full of hope, but also tension, because you don't really know if it's going to work.
Right, right.
So she's back in her body, but her troubles are far from over.
No, not at all.
She's still a wanted woman,
right,
framed for her grandmother's murder. And now she's got this burning desire to uncover the truth.
Yeah, she wants justice.
She wants to bring the real culprit to justice.
Absolutely. And this quest really propels her forward.
It does.
Even though she's dealing with so much, grief and betrayal and uncertainty.
It's amazing how resilient she is.
It is.
Right.
I mean, she's vulnerable, but
Yeah.
she's also incredibly strong.
And she's got some amazing allies by her side.
Yes, she does.
Priya, Mrs. Guthrie, her loyal fox companion River.
What a team.
It's a great team.
And their journey takes them to some really interesting places.
It does.
Hidden magical libraries,
Yeah.
ancient ruins.
It's like a tour of Scotland's hidden magical history.
Exactly.
And they encounter all sorts of characters along the way,
Right.
including Ropa's old mentor, Sir Ian Callender,
Oh, yes.
the secretary of the Society of Skeptical Inquirers.
Right.
His revelations about Ropa's family history and the events that led to the catastrophe were mind-blowing.
Yeah, he's like a gatekeeper of knowledge.
Yeah, he really is.
And what he reveals about Ropa's father, well,
What about him?
he was this brilliant magical researcher,
Okay.
apparently studying the very boundaries between life and death.
Wow.
But there's this mystery surrounding his disappearance.
Oh.
A mystery that might be connected to the catastrophe.
Oh, wow. So not only is Ropa dealing with her grandmother's death and being framed for murder,
Right.
she's also got to uncover the truth about her father's fate.
Exactly. And then there's this whole other element, this
Yeah.
looming threat.
The tall man.
The tall man. Yes.
He sounds terrifying.
He's described as the shadowy figure,
Yeah.
existing beyond the veil, feeding on chaos and despair.
I mean, just thinking about him gives me chills.
He's a chilling reminder that even in a world of magic,
Right.
there are forces of darkness
That we can't control.
that we can't fully comprehend or control. Yeah.
And it sounds like he's not working alone,
No, he's got followers.
right? There's still that faction within the society
Right.
that supports Wedderburn, even after his betrayal.
It's a divided house.
It is so... Rope is facing this monumental task.
She is.
She needs to stop the tall man, protect her sister, and somehow restore balance to this world that's teetering on the brink of chaos.
It seems impossible,
It does.
but Ropa, she never gives up.
And just when she thinks she can trust the society, she's betrayed by Lord Samara Singh.
Oh, yes, the English sorcerer royal.
What a betrayal.
I know.
It just adds insult to injury.
It really does. So who can Ropa trust?
That is the question.
And what will happen in that final confrontation with the tall man?
Well, we're going to have to find out in part 3 of our deep dive into the legacy of Arniston House. I mean, it's like, talk about a kick in the gut. You finally think you found someone you can trust, and then bam.
It's rough, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough world out there, even for ghost talkers.
It really is. And it's not just Ropa who gets hurt.
Oh, right.
Remember her younger sister, Iswi?
Yeah.
She gets caught in the crossfire when the tall man's forces attack the school.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That was such a scary moment in the book.
It is when you realize that, this isn't just some abstract battle.
Right.
It's about real people's lives.
Exactly.
And the stakes are high.
So she's got so much on her plate, right? She has to stop the tall man, protect her sister, and try to restore balance to this world that's,
falling apart at the seams.
Yeah, it's like, how do you even begin to tackle all of that?
Well, that's what makes Ropa such an amazing character.
Right.
She doesn't give up. She finds that strength.
And she doesn't do it alone.
No, she's got her friends and allies.
She does.
And her connection to the spirit world.
Right.
It all comes together for her.
And it all comes to a head on Kelton Hill, right? Amidst the ruins of the Library of the Dead.
Such a perfect setting.
It's this epic battle between good and evil, light and darkness.
And we finally see the tall man for what he truly is.
Yeah, he's not just some shadowy figure anymore.
No, he's revealed to be this ancient primordial being.
It's kind of terrifying, but also fascinating.
Yeah, he represents that darkness that's always lurking,
Right.
out there in the universe.
And Ropa, in this amazing act of selflessness,
Hmm.
uses her power to banish him back to the other place.
To the realm of eternal darkness.
But it comes at a cost, right?
Yeah,
She gets trapped there.
separated from her body, surrounded by shadows.
So does she survive?
She does.
So-
But she's changed.
Yeah.
She's seen things, experienced things that have left their mark.
So she's stronger, but also maybe a little bit broken.
Perhaps, but she's still fighting.
That's what matters.
It is. So what do we take away from Ropa's journey in the Legacy of Arniston House?
I think it's a story about so many things. It's about family and loyalty and courage and sacrifice.
Yeah, and about the choices we make.
Right.
And the consequences of those choices.
And about finding hope even in the darkest of times.
Exactly, even when it seems like all is lost.
So if you're looking for a book that will stay with you long after you finish reading it, that will make you think and feel and question everything you thought you knew.
The Legacy of Arniston House is definitely worth checking out.
Couldn't agree more.
It's a wild ride.
And that's it for our deep dive into the Legacy of Arniston House.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We'll be back next week with another deep dive into a different book. So until then, happy reading.